You think this is a coincidence? No, it is not. Your being here today, reading these words, is the result of a divine intervention. The account of the injustices done to you, those who belittled you, those who plotted behind your back, is now being settled. There is a power that sees your tears, your silent suffering. And now his justice speaks. God says, I have seen what has been done to you. I know those who have hurt you, and I have come to avenge you. This is your ascension. Those who tried to destroy you will fall into their own traps. Those who despise you will bow down before you. Those who think you are weak will see the divine power in you and begin to tremble. Because now there is a power behind you that cannot be destroyed by human hands. Get ready and write 777 in the comments, because God has stepped in. The moment was inevitable. Without effort, without warning, the shift happened. Voices that had filled the space with their carefully curated rhetoric fell into an unnatural silence. It was not hesitation. It was something deeper, a recognition, a disruption of the order they had meticulously crafted. The weight of an unseen force settled over the room, pressing against the very fabric of their illusions. Those accustomed to controlling the rhythm of discourse, the strategists, the orators, the silent kingmakers, felt it first. Their instincts, honed through years of careful maneuvering, whispered a truth they could not ignore. They were in the presence of something beyond their influence. It was like a storm rolling in over a dry land, unstoppable, undeniable, shifting the very air before it arrived. You didn't come with noise or commotion, yet the atmosphere changed the moment you stepped in. It wasn't about rank, reputation, or displays of dominance. No, this was something deeper, something rooted beyond the surface. Those who had built their thrones on persuasion and perception were the first to sense the disturbance. For so long, their words had shaped the world. Their voices had dictated direction. They were masters of illusion, architects of influence. Until now. Now they found themselves standing before something that would not move, something that could not be manipulated. Their carefully constructed power structures trembled, the foundation beneath them suddenly fragile. They had spent their lives commanding rooms, yet now their presence felt small. Because when the real enters, the counterfeit is exposed. Nothing needed to be spoken. The unspoken language of authority had already rewritten the rules of the space. It wasn't an act of defiance, nor an assertion of superiority. It was simply existence in its most unfiltered form. There was no posturing, no effort to claim dominance, only the undeniable presence of someone who needed nothing from them. That was the fracture point. Because control requires engagement, influence demands recognition, and they were given neither. The architecture of their world had been crafted with intention. It relied on assumptions, on participation in their games of leverage and perception. But the force they now faced had no interest in their constructs, their strategies, their carefully balanced hierarchy, their mastery of manipulation. All of it was rendered useless in the face of something beyond their reach. They could feel the collapse before they could articulate it. The foundation upon which they had built their certainty cracked beneath the weight of something more real than all their illusions combined. For those attuned to more than what is seen, the moment carried a different weight. It was not intimidation that caused their hesitation, nor fear of challenge. It was something more primal, an ancient recognition buried deep in the fibers of existence itself. It bypassed logic, circumvented analysis. It whispered truths they could not unhear. Their minds scrambled to contextualize, to categorize, to rationalize. But the message had already been delivered, not through words, but through something more absolute. The illusion of control is fragile. It thrives on perception, on agreement, on shared rules. But when something steps outside of those rules, when something simply is, without need for validation or compliance, then the illusion shatters. That was the moment they faced. The realization that they had spent a lifetime mastering a game that no longer applied, that their influence had boundaries, that their presence, once so commanding, had been eclipsed by something they could neither manipulate nor contain. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now, share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. This was not merely social. It was not even psychological. It was something more, a force that had no need for recognition, that carried no concern for status or structure. A presence so absolute that it required no explanation, no introduction. And that is the deepest fear of those who trade in perception. The realization that some forces exist beyond their reach, that some truths cannot be rewritten, that some presences simply demand recognition without ever asking for it. The moment was undeniable. A presence that could not be placed within the confines of familiar hierarchies disrupted the balance of the space. Those who have long mastered the art of influence, those who built empires with words unspoken, gestures calculated, and power carefully hoarded, felt something shift. It was not an intrusion, but an emergence, something that had always been beyond their reach, yet now stood in undeniable clarity before them. The weight of something unshaken by their constructs unsettled even the most seasoned among them, for they sensed an authority beyond what they understood, an authority that was not granted, negotiated, or seized, but simply existed. Power speaks a language beyond the audible, a frequency that reverberates between those who truly grasp its nature. It is a silent conversation among those who navigate the deepest currents of influence, strategists who move pieces unseen, rulers who shape the course of history, minds sharpened by war, leaders whose decisions ripple through generations. And yet, even within this elite circle, there are those whose presence does not merely command attention, but recalibrates the entire space. Not because of accolades, nor because of titles, but because they carry an awareness unshaken by external measures. Those who knew the weight of true influence saw it immediately, not in displays of power, but in the quiet certainty of someone who does not ask for acknowledgement. Like the first golden light of dawn that sweeps away the shadows of a long, dark night, there emerges a presence that is both unmistakable and transformative, a beacon of hope and unyielding strength that touches every soul it encounters. In that radiant moment, the spirit of the chosen one shines forth with clarity and power, a living testimony to the divine order that guides all who are destined for greatness. It is as if a celestial force, polished by trials and honed by the wisdom of the ages, has been entrusted to walk among us, a presence that not only illuminates the path ahead, but also reminds us that true power is never found in the clamor of external accolades or the hollow pursuit of praise. Instead, it is discovered in the mastery of one's inner self, a state of being that radiates confidence and grace without uttering a single boastful word. This is the paradox that fractures the illusion of control. The most unshakable presence does not come from dominance over others, but from mastery over the self. Dependency fuels the mechanics of influence. People seek recognition, security, validation, but when someone enters a space needing none of these things, the very foundation of social dynamics is altered. Observe how those who once dictated the flow of conversation now pause, how unspoken calculations shift, how assumptions dissolve. They feel it before they understand it, the undeniable gravity of one who moves with certainty, unaffected by their games. In a world where every handshake is measured by the weight of self-interest and every word is weighed against the scales of approval, the emergence of such a presence is as revolutionary as it is subtle. When a soul steps forward with the unadorned assurance that comes only from profound self-possession, the established order trembles. It is not through the loud proclamations of power or the ostentatious display of accomplishments that such a spirit commands respect, but rather through an inner light that outshines the transient glimmers of fleeting success. The moment that this inner light shines forth, it disrupts the carefully curated narratives of those who have long relied on the comfort of conformity and the predictability of mutual dependence. Imagine, if you will, a seasoned preacher standing at the pulpit, his voice resonating with the authority of someone who has seen both the depths of despair and the heights of divine favor. His message is not one of boastful triumph, but of quiet, unyielding faith. A faith that proclaims, "You are more than the sum of your fears, more than the voices that seek to define you." In the same way, when an individual steps into a room without the need for validation, without the trappings of approval, they create a space where the usual metrics of power are rendered meaningless. The effect is akin to a gentle yet unstoppable current that realigns the very fabric of the gathering, urging each soul present to recognize the higher calling that lies within them. There comes a time in every life when the pursuit of external validation gives way to a profound understanding of one's intrinsic worth, a realization that no amount of worldly accolades can substitute for the rich, abiding power that comes from inner mastery. In that moment, the superficial markers of influence, titles, accolades, and the transient applause of a crowd lose their luster, replaced by the steady, unshakable glow of self-possession. The very mechanics of influence, which for so long had been dictated by the relentless quest for approval, are transformed into something altogether more authentic. It is as if the chains of dependency are shattered, and in their place arises a freedom that is as liberating as it is empowering. As the winds of change sweep through the corridors of human interaction, those who have long depended on the currency of conformity find themselves disoriented by the emergence of a new paradigm. In this new order, power is not something to be seized or hoarded. It is a state of being that flourishes when one recognizes that true influence emanates from an unyielding sense of self. This shift is not the product of any grandiose declaration or forceful assertion, but the quiet, profound shift of a soul that is secure in its divine purpose. It is a transformation that transcends the petty battles for supremacy and moves into a realm where every action is a reflection of a deeper, more enduring truth. There is a simplicity in this transformation that belies its vast impact, a transformation that, like a deep and ancient river carving its path through rock, slowly but inexorably reshapes the landscape of human connection. Those who once relied on the illusion of control now find themselves swept up in the current of something greater, something that cannot be measured by the conventional metrics of power. The effects ripple outward, touching each heart and stirring a dormant courage to embrace a new way of being. It is in this quiet revolution that the truest form of authority is revealed, a form that calls not for domination, but for the humble acknowledgement of an inner strength that has always been present, waiting to be recognized. The transformation is not one of loud proclamations or ostentatious displays. It is the subtle, steady shift of energy that occurs when an individual, confident in their own worth, walks into a room and changes its very essence. The established patterns of influence, long upheld by those who measured success in terms of external markers, begin to unravel in the face of such undeniable authenticity. What was once a carefully choreographed performance of power becomes a natural, effortless expression of truth, a truth that resonates deeply within the hearts of all who bear witness. The shift is as profound as it is unexpected, inviting even the most skeptical observer to question the very foundations upon which their understanding of power was built. In this new light, every interaction takes on a different hue. The conversations that once revolved around self-promotion and the relentless pursuit of approval are replaced by moments of genuine connection and mutual respect. It is a quiet revolution that challenges the status quo, a revolution born not of confrontation or strife, but of the serene confidence that comes from knowing oneself. When an individual walks into a space with nothing to prove, the need for pretense vanishes. In its place arises a clarity, a lucid, unadulterated vision of what it means to truly be. And in that vision, the very mechanics of influence are redefined, inviting all to partake in a shared journey towards something infinitely greater than the sum of our individual ambitions. Consider the strength of a mighty river, not measured by the force with which it crashes upon the banks, but by the serene, unwavering current that shapes the landscape over time. In that same manner, the power of one who is secure in their divine purpose does not arise from the clamor of external forces, but from the quiet assurance that flows from deep within. This assurance is not diminished by the doubts or challenges of others. It is fortified by them, like the steady flow of water that carves its way through stone. This inner strength transforms obstacles into stepping stones, doubts into opportunities, and challenges into triumphs. The impact is not immediate in the clamor of the moment, but becomes evident over time as the very fabric of society is gently yet irrevocably altered. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. When you witness this kind of presence, it is as if the very air around you becomes charged with a sense of possibility. A promise that no matter how formidable the barriers may seem, there is an inherent power within each of us that can overcome any obstacle. This is the kind of power that does not seek to dominate or control, but rather to inspire and uplift. It is a power that calls us to look beyond the transient symbols of success and to embrace a deeper, more enduring source of strength. A power that reminds us that we are all in our own unique ways, chosen to shine brightly in a world that so desperately needs light. Therein lies the heart of the matter. The most transformative force is not one that is imposed from without, but one that arises from within. It is the realization that true influence is not about asserting control over others, but about cultivating an inner landscape that is rich with wisdom, resilience, and unwavering faith. As you stand firm in this truth, you become a living testament to the power of self-possession, a beacon that calls others to awaken from the slumber of conformity and step into the radiant possibility of their own divine potential. Picture a vast, ancient oak standing tall on a hillside, its roots deep in the nourishing soil and its branches stretching wide to embrace the morning sun. Just as that mighty tree grows, not from the fleeting praise of passing winds, but from the enduring strength of its hidden roots, so too does true empowerment arise from the quiet reservoir of inner wisdom and unshakable faith. Let this be a reminder that the journey to true empowerment is not paved with the transient accolades of the world, but with the deep, abiding knowledge that comes from within. It is a journey that challenges us to cast aside the need for approval from those who measure our worth by worldly standards and to instead cherish the radiant beauty of our own inner light. As we choose to step away from the superficial glitter of external validation, the very foundations of our existence begin to shift. The bedrock on which our lives stand is transformed, redefining what it means to lead, to inspire, and to live a life of purpose. Consider the simple truth that every soul has been bestowed with a unique and divine spark, a light that shines not because it seeks the applause of the crowd, but because it reflects the eternal brilliance of a higher power. When we set aside our hunger for praise and the fleeting rewards of societal approval, we open ourselves to the transformative power that flows from deep within. This power, like a steady current in a mighty river, reshapes our world from the inside out, gradually smoothing away the rough edges of doubt and fear. Imagine the gentle unfolding of a new day, where each sunrise is a testament to the limitless potential that lies within us all. The challenges we face are not obstacles meant to break us, but stepping stones guiding us toward a higher destiny. Each moment of self-realization, every small victory of self-mastery, reinforces the truth that real strength is cultivated in silence and nurtured in solitude. It is in these quiet moments of reflection that we come to understand the eternal principles that govern our lives, principles that are far more enduring than any temporary measure of success. As we embark on this sacred journey, we are called to let go of the heavy burden of seeking validation from the world. Instead, we are invited to embrace the gentle yet powerful realization that our worth is defined by the love, compassion, and wisdom that reside within our hearts. In doing so, we discover that the true markers of leadership and influence are not the loud proclamations or the glittering rewards of external achievement, but the quiet, steadfast light of a spirit that is fully aligned with its divine purpose. Every step we take on this path is a reaffirmation of our intrinsic value, a declaration that our inner radiance is the source of all lasting strength. It is a reminder that when we choose to nurture our own souls, we also become beacons of hope and inspiration for those around us. The transformation that occurs is both subtle and profound, a gradual yet unstoppable realignment of our inner world that ultimately touches every aspect of our lives. So, let your spirit be as resolute as the ancient oak and as luminous as the first light of dawn. Embrace the journey of self-discovery and inner growth, and allow the quiet power of your true self to illuminate the path for others. In doing so, you will not only redefine what it means to lead and inspire, but also leave an indelible mark on the very fabric of existence, a testament to a life lived in accordance with the eternal truths of purpose, resilience, and boundless grace. In the stillness of that unspoken moment, when the world pauses to take notice of something far greater than the sum of its parts, you witness a profound truth: that the power to transform lives lies not in the accumulation of wealth, accolades, or influence, but in the quiet conviction of one who has mastered the art of self-reliance. It is a truth that resonates deep within, a call to rise above the trivialities of everyday existence and to embrace the fullness of our potential. This is the promise of a life lived with integrity and purpose, a life where every step is guided by an inner compass that points unwaveringly toward the divine. May this vision inspire you to seek that inner strength, to cultivate a spirit that is unburdened by the need for external validation, and to recognize that the truest form of power lies in the mastery of self. As you journey forward, let the light of your inner being illuminate the path for others, creating a ripple effect that transforms not only your own life, but the very fabric of the world around you. Embrace this destiny with a full heart and an open mind, and know that in doing so, you are part of a grand tapestry, a tapestry woven from the threads of divine purpose, resilience, and unwavering hope. Let your spirit soar like an eagle rising above the storm, unchallenged by the turbulent winds below, secure in the knowledge that your power comes from an eternal source, a source that is as constant and as pure as the morning light. And as you continue to walk this path of self-discovery and empowerment, remember that every step you take is a testament to the unyielding strength that resides within you. For in the end, it is not the applause of the multitude, but the quiet affirmation of your own soul that truly measures the worth of your journey. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Every constructed power structure operates on hierarchy, a natural order where the strong rise through precision, manipulation, or force. Those who have ruled these systems, those who have long believed themselves to be the apex, recognize when something beyond their design enters their realm. They have honed instincts that ensure survival at the highest level, instincts that now whisper of something they cannot control. The moment their eyes lock onto what they cannot categorize, a ripple moves through them. Their posture changes, their rhythm falters, not because of confrontation, but because for the first time in years, they sense something beyond themselves. The one who has always studied the room now finds themselves being studied. But this is not about challenge or competition. It is about the quiet undoing of illusions, the structures they relied on, the tactics they refined, the power they accumulated. None of it holds weight against something that does not operate within their paradigm. They thrive in the realm of positioning, of strategic maneuvering, of controlled influence. But there exists a force that does not compete because it does not seek to win. It simply is. And against that, all else feels small. Silence is the final lesson. It is not passivity, it is revelation. In the absence of forced recognition, in the stillness of unshaken certainty, everything else becomes noise. Those who can hear beyond the spoken word will recognize something within themselves shifting, awakening. Those who cannot will desperately cling to the structures they once believed unbreakable, raising their voices in a space that has already moved beyond them. And so, without a word, the entire dynamic transforms, not by demand, nor by persuasion, but by presence alone.